Long ago, in a small, remote fishing village on the northern coast of Scotland, where grey cliffs rose steeply to battle the fierce Atlantic waves, and thick fog hung year-round like a veil hiding the sea's secrets, there lived a man named Callum. Callum was a solitary fisherman, about 30 years old, with a weathered, sunburned face, hands hardened from hauling nets day and night, and a heart left empty by a life without love. His fiancée, a village girl named Morag, had died of a plague several years earlier, leaving Callum to live alone in an old wooden cottage by the shore. He fished to survive, but life was harsh. His boat was worn, his nets were torn, and the sea often took more than it gave. The villagers pitied him, yet Callum kept his distance, preferring to wander alone along the rocky shore on full moon nights, when the waves grew calm and the wind whispered ancient tales. The legend of the Selkie had long circulated through the village, beautiful sea beings, half human and half seal, who could shed their seal skins to become human and dance naked on the shore beneath the moon. If someone stole a Selkie's skin, the Selkie would be bound to the land, forced to remain as a loyal spouse. But the villagers warned one another, "Never steal a Selkie's skin, or disaster will follow. Love taken by force will shatter, and the sea will reclaim what is hers." Callum scoffed at these stories, dismissing them as the superstitions of old women. "If Selkies truly exist," he often muttered to himself, "I would steal her skin and have a beautiful wife who would never leave." His loneliness had grown so deep that he longed to possess a perfect woman, one who would never abandon him. One brilliant full moon night, while wandering along a hidden stretch of shore beneath the cliffs, Callum heard strange music like the sea singing lullabies woven with clear, joyful laughter. He hid behind a large rock and witnessed something miraculous. A group of Selkies women, of breathtaking beauty, with smooth white skin and long black or golden hair, had shed their glossy seal skins, neatly laid upon the rocks, and were dancing naked beneath the moonlight. They moved gracefully with the rhythm of the waves, their laughter ringing like silver bells. Callum stood frozen, his heart pounding with desire and years of buried loneliness. His eyes fixed on the most beautiful Selkie of all. She had long silver hair flowing in the wind, eyes as deep blue as the ocean floor, and a smile tinged with quiet sadness. "She will be mine," Callum thought, his desire for possession surging. While the Selkies danced in bliss, Callum crept forward and stole the seal skin of the silver-haired Selkie, the soft hide still warm with the breath of the sea, and hid it inside his coat. When the dancing ended, the Selkies returned to their skins and slipped back into the ocean, but the silver-haired one panicked. "Where is my skin? Who has taken it?" she cried, her voice clear, yet filled with despair. Callum stepped forward, pretending concern. "Are you lost? Come home with me. I'll help you find it." The Selkie, called Lyra in the legends of the sea, had no choice. Without her skin, she could not return to the ocean. Trembling with fear and sorrow, she followed Callum to his home. At first, Callum was gentle. He gave her clothes, cooked for her, and spoke softly. "You are so beautiful, Lyra. Stay with me. Be my wife. I will love you forever." Bound by circumstance, Lyra nodded through tears. "I have no choice, but I miss the sea." They married in the village church, and the villagers marveled at Lyra's otherworldly beauty. Callum was wildly happy. He had a beautiful, obedient wife who cooked well and bore him 3 children, 2 sons and a daughter with strange, sea-blue eyes. Lyra cared for her family devotedly, yet her gaze always drifted toward the ocean, distant and sorrowful. "I miss my home," she whispered at night while Callum slept. Callum grew jealous. He hid her sealskin in a locked cellar beneath the floor and forbade her from going to the shore alone. "You are my wife. You belong to the land," he shouted when she begged. Callum's blind need for possession turned love into a prison. He beat her when she grew sad, forced her to smile, and boasted to the villagers, "My wife is the most beautiful and the most loyal." But Lyra withered. Her skin grew pale. Her eyes dulled from silent tears. She sang sea lullabies to her children, taught them of the ocean, and whispered, "One day I will go home." Time passed as mercilessly as waves eroding stone. The children grew. The eldest son, Torin, took after his father, rough and greedy. The second son, Finn, was gentle like his mother and dreamed of the sea. The youngest, a daughter named Mira, had deep blue eyes and often cried when her mother sang. Callum prospered through fishing, believing his success came from the blessing of his Selkie wife. He bought a new boat and a larger house, but his heart darkened. He grew irrationally jealous, convinced Lyra was unfaithful with the sea itself, and beat her more often. The villagers whispered, "Callum keeps his wife like a slave. A true Selkie will leave him." Lyra endured for her children's sake. "They need their father," she said, though her spirit slowly died from longing for the ocean, her true home, her freedom. The tragedy reached its peak when Finn, the second son, at 15 years old, discovered the sealskin hidden in the cellar while playing hide-and-seek. Feeling its warmth so familiar from his mother's songs, he ran to Lyra. "Mother, what is this?" Lyra saw it and collapsed in tears, her body trembling with joy and agony. "My skin, my son, I must return to the sea." She embraced Finn and told him the truth. When Callum came home and saw them, he flew into a frenzy. He seized the skin and burned it before his wife and children. "You belong to me forever. You will never return to the sea." Lyra screamed as if her soul were torn apart. "You have killed me, Callum," the children cried. Torin stood beside his father. Finn and Mira clung to their mother. The curse of blind possession was complete. Lyra declined rapidly after her skin was burned. Her body dried and cracked like parched earth. Her vision faded, and she died in Finn's arms, whispering, "I am returning to the sea. My children never possess another as your father did." Callum grieved at first, weeping at her grave, but madness soon followed. He forbade the children from speaking her name and beat them for betrayal. Torin grew violent like his father and died in a fight with villagers. Mira, sorrowful like her mother, took her own life by throwing herself into the sea. Finn fled, becoming a wandering fisherman, but died in a storm, the sea reclaiming Selkie blood. Callum was left utterly alone in his large house, gold piled high, his heart hollow. He wandered the shoreline day and night, calling Lyra's name. The villagers shunned him as a madman. At last, on a night of terrible storms, Callum hurled himself from the cliff into the raging sea and drowned. The sea reclaimed everything, leaving only an abandoned house and the legend of the man who stole a Selkie's skin, whose blind need to possess destroyed his wife, his children, and himself.